So how you guys doing today? Good? Awesome. So I'm going to teach you guys a few unorthodox, weird funnel optimization tips that are going to help you double your business. I know that may be hard to believe, but if you test them out, you try them on your business, I promise you, you actually will see growth. If you don't, you can shoot me an email and I'll give you some free advice. Sound good? All right, let's get started. Here's my Twitter handle. Hashtag, don't use this one, use 500DISTRO. Is that correct, Dave?
Yeah. Yes, please.
All right. So you know what hashtag to use. So a bit about me. I've been doing business for 11 years. Founded a few companies with my co-founder who's sitting here in the front. And one thing about all our companies is we've dealt with a lot of other businesses in which we had a consulting company, had to deal with helping other people grow their business. And you end up learning what works for all types of businesses. Some things may work in the dog food industry. Some things may work with a B2B SaaS product. It really varies. But there's a lot of tweaks and tricks that you can do with any business, because almost all businesses have a funnel, that can result in more growth. So let's get started in a few. And to be exact, I actually have 6 of them. So idea number 1, flip your funnel around. Conversion optimization is like dating. If I come to you, let's go find a girl, anyone, right here, sitting on her phone, texting away, pay attention, I'm looking at you. If I said, hey, what's your name?
Casey.
Casey. So if I say, hey, my name's Neil, I'm a serial entrepreneur, would you like to get married? You're probably going to say no. Don't worry, I won't put you on spot. You don't have to answer that. Why? Because I don't know you, Casey. And if you ask me to marry you, I'd probably say no either. Nothing wrong with you. It's just we don't know each other. But you know what? If we started having a conversation, I got to know you, and I said, let's go grab some coffee at some coffee bar or Starbucks or whatever you want to call it, right? You may be like, all right, I feel sorry for this guy, so let's just do it. So we go and have coffee, get to know you a bit more, and things go well. Next thing you know, we go on a few more dates, dinner, everything's good. Next thing you know, we move in with each other. Don't worry, it's not right away. It's like 6 months to a year from now. And then from there, right, I meet your parents, and then I ask you to marry you. And hopefully you say yes, right? But by that time, I've got to know her for a year or 2. The chances are, if you ask someone to marry you right away, they're going to say no. Unless they're shit-faced and you're in Vegas, marriage isn't going to happen right away. But once you get to know people, your chances increase. Conversion optimization is the same thing. If I give you a funnel that looks like this, hey, visit my site, sign up, give me your money, start using my product. Yeah, some of you may pay, and for those, I'll love you guys, right? Like, by all means, give me your money. But most people won't go to your site right away and hand out their wallet. Why? Because they don't know you. If you build a relationship with someone, you give them advice, you blog, you educate, you do all these types of things, you're going to build a great bond with your visitors, and then when you ask them to buy, they're much more likely to do so. So why doesn't your funnel be switched around in which you give people a bit of taste, right, of your product, your service, whatever it may be? We actually did this with one of our sites called Hello Bar, in which instead of saying, hey, come to our homepage and sign up right away, we said, you know what, put in your URL. Let's get started. So someone puts in their URL. Boom, next step. You're in the app. You haven't signed up yet. You're creating your bar. You're putting it on your site. You're getting started, right? And then we ask you to sign up. Do you know what the difference between signups from asking them to sign up on the homepage versus letting them get started was? 52.11% increase in signups. That's a lot more users, right? So don't get greedy and just ask people to sign up right away. Think of it like dating. What works in dating typically works really well with conversion optimization. Idea number 2, and this is related to idea number 1. Once you flip around your funnel, why not bring out some curiosity, right? Because you all know in a funnel, someone's going to drop off from step 1 to step 2, and from there to 3, so forth, so on. It's very rare that 100% of your users are going to stick around throughout the whole funnel, right? If that's the case, you should be up here speaking instead of me, because I want to know how to do that. So people are going to drop off unless you figure out a way to make them stick around. So I have this personal site of mine, neilpatel.com. Just people hit me up for consulting inquiries. I don't really do consulting, so you don't have to go there, but I'll show you the screenshots nonetheless. Someone comes to the site, flipped around the funnel, And instead of saying, hey, what's your name, URL, marketing budget, I first say, what's your URL? And then from there, I ask you for the rest of the information, right? But I was like, you know what? There's a huge drop-off from step 1 to step 2. And I was chilling with one of my buddies. I'm like, dude, how do I get people to stick around? And we were having a beer. And he's like, you know what? Have you ever tried what McAfee does? I'm like, what do you mean? He's just like, dude, everyone sticks through McAfee tests. And I'm like, why? It's because it shows you how many viruses you have. And as it's running, you're like, oh, shit, I got one virus. It's going to take 5 more minutes to complete, but I got to stick around because I have, a virus. And I got to fix it, right? Why he got the virus is a whole different topic. But nonetheless, he had a virus, right? So I was like, all right. And this made me think, how can I actually get people to stick around? Well, when someone puts in a URL, why not analyze their site and tell them how many issues they have? So you put in a URL, boom. Starts talking about how many errors you have, and it's a progress bar, and it takes a while to analyze your site. What's interesting here is, once it's done, analyze your site, I don't show you the errors. I take you to the lead form and make you put in your name, email address, your monthly budget, and I gotta say, it actually works. The test is still running, but it's a 20+% increase. But what's even more interesting is, these leads get passed off to like third parties, right? These third parties will hit you up, sales guys. And these sales guys will email you. And because it's not me emailing you and you're giving your information to me as a lead, there's a high chance you won't follow up. But with the respondents that actually saw the errors, like, oh, I got X errors, and we didn't show them the errors, we just told them there's X number of errors, there was a 63.5% increase in follow-ups, in which when a sales guy hit them up saying, hey, let's get on the phone, 63.5% more of them were likely to follow up, because they knew there was issues with their website, right? And that's not that hard. Almost every website has errors. No one's perfect. Mine is, everyone's, right? Like, everything can always be better fine-tuned. And speaking of following up, how many of you guys actually follow up with your customers? Probably very few. Do any of you guys here have sales guys? Some? All right. Most of you do not. Just because you don't have a sales team doesn't mean you can't follow up with people. Right? So I have a buddy, he's a stock trader, and he's just like, I have sales guys, people are coming to me, they want me to teach them how to play in the stock market, I just want to trade, I don't care to have a shitload of sales guys following up with people, but they're not responding once I'm ready to tell them about the service that I have to offer. So he went out and created something that I thought was a bit ballsy. He wanted everyone to think about him and his brand. His name's Timothy Sykes. So he's like, I'm going to give everyone homework assignments. I'm like, what are you talking about? We're not in high school. You can't give people homework assignments. But he did. He gave his visitors and leads 7 homework assignments. So once you're in his funnel, he gives you 7 assignments, 1 every single day. Makes you watch videos, learn stuff, even shows you testimonials as your homework assignments. And what was really interesting is I'm like, dude, not everyone's going to do your homework assignments. But quite a bit of people did. And it was so effective, he saw much more revenue, which I'll get into a bit. But why did it work? And he taught me that was something really interesting, in which visitors are visitors. You got to train them to buy. Especially in San Francisco, I hate this city. Everyone here is smart, and that's not why I hate it. Everyone here gets shit for free, which means outside of San Francisco, when you gotta start charging for stuff, people are like, no, I can get it for free. Some company in San Francisco is offering it for free. So it's like, crap, right? You gotta train people to buy, and it's really hard because all you guys want to give everything away for free. So how do you do this? You gotta get your visitors to do micro commitments. If I want to give you a guide that'll teach you how to grow your traffic, I'm gonna make you give me an email address. And once you give me an email address, I'm not just gonna email you the guide. I'm going to email you a link to the guide because I'm going to teach you that, hey, you want this good thing, you got to learn to click. Because eventually I'm going to ask you to buy, and I want you to click on the buy button, right? In essence, I'm training you to take action. And that's what Tim's doing with his homework assignment. It was so effective, he saw 84.7% increase in revenue. That's a lot, right? Talking about homework, why not quiz your readers too, right? Or your visitors? And don't worry, we don't want to quiz them college style, right? You can actually make quizzes fun. Think about games. I don't play too many games, but I think my mom's addicted to one called Candy Crush or something like that, right? And these games are really addicting, so much that everyone's playing them and they're doing millions of dollars a day in revenue. So how can you actually take these mechanics from games and incorporate some of that concepts and logic into your website? Well, you can. So there's this company called Crew, and they have this app called How Much to Make an App. And it pulls you through a series of questions, and at the end, after you're filling out some of these questions, click, there you go, it actually says, all right, here's how much it's going to cost for you to build an app. And they'll ask you for your information if you're interested in moving forward. So I saw a few people taking this concept. Another company was Revolutionary Golf, or Revolution Golf, something like that. And they're doing an extra $20 million a year because they're quizzing their visitors at the top of the funnel before they actually ask them to sign up. So what did I learn from this? I've done a lot of tests on this. One thing I learned was the ideal number of questions to ask when you're quizzing people, like do you want more traffic, or do you want to solve this problem, and you're getting people into a quiz, is start off with 5 questions. You can test adding less or more, but I've tend to found that 5 is a sweet spot. You want to use images when possible, and you want your questions or your answers to be limited to 4. So if you have a question saying like, what's your number one, or where are you spending most of your money in marketing, and you give them 4 options, right? You wouldn't want to give them 6 or 8. And then based on what they answer, you ideally want the next question to be relevant to their response, right? If you do this, you'll find that you can quickly generate more leads. So many more that the last time I tested this, I was able to increase signups by 281%. That's a lot, right? Now, granted, you still have to get people to go through the rest of the funnel and sign up and give their credit card and buy, etc. But it's a very effective strategy to get people engaged. Because if they're going to take the time to answer a few questions, they're much more likely to actually sign up. And a great place to see funny quizzes, although it may not be related to most of your businesses, is the Oatmeal. The guy has awesome humor. So if you take a lot of his concepts, logic, his name is Matthew Inman, right? You can actually make much more interesting quizzes. And his are really interesting, right? Like, can you take a velociraptor in a fight, right? And he goes through a series of questions like, would you either run from a velociraptor, or once it bites off your arm, take it and then beat it with your arm, right? And people start answering like, yeah, I'm going to beat up the velociraptor with my, leg that I'm holding up with my arm and stuff like that. So getting people to sign up is great, but why not even make things easier for them, right? So as you're trying to increase your signups, why not just use out the services that are out there on the web? Now, for example, I bet all of you in here have signed up for more than 10, 20, 50, I bet you even 100 services in your lifetime, right? Unless some of you guys in here are like 10 years old, which I don't see anyone that young. But nonetheless, you probably signed up for Gmail, Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest, and so forth, so on, right? Candy Crush, whatever you want to end up calling these things. You've given so many people your username, your email, your password. Why should you have to fill that out again? It's a pain in the butt. I don't want to give it again. Looking at Buffer, they do a great job. Here's your Twitter, your LinkedIn, your Facebook. Just click a button, log in with the same credentials, right? Sign up with them. It's a very effective strategy to get users to sign up. Now, we have a B2B company called KISSmetrics. We're like, will this work for us, right? A lot of companies that sign up are like Microsoft and stuff like that. They may not have their Microsoft email tied with their Facebook or their Twitter, and we actually just gave them the Google option, right? Sign with Google. So they may not have a Gmail, Google Analytics. We're like, will it really work? And it actually did, so much that our signups increased by 59.4%. But what's even more interesting is my co-founder here changed the verbiage from sign up to log in, right? And we saw another 22% lift on top of that. These conversion rates compound. So if you had a 59% increase the first time, the 22% increase is on top of that 59. So when you compound them, you're roughly looking at a bit more than 90%. It's like 91.8 or something like that percent increase in signups. That's a lot, right? And for your users who may not have a Google account or a Facebook account or Twitter account, you can put a link at the bottom that just says, like, don't have a Google account or a Twitter account, click here to sign up. But doing this makes it really simple for people to sign up. They don't have to put in an email and password anymore. Sure, they have to authorize with Google or Facebook. A window will pop up saying, do you authorize this company to, register or get their email and password? And if the user clicks yes, you have their information. If not, you don't. And it's secure, and you can't log into their Facebook or anything like that, so people don't have anything to worry about. But it's a great way to get more signups, and it's worth testing out. right? If it worked for us in a B2B company, considering that a lot of our clients are corporations and they may not have a Gmail address, it actually can work quite well for you as well. And last but not least, idea number 6. I actually learned this one from the dating industry. Get personal with your visitors, your customers, your users, right? Everyone wants to feel special. Everyone wants a hug. Everyone wants to feel that they're the only person in the room. You can make that happen with your visitors. You can make them feel that they're the only one that matters. Not just through your content, not just through your blogging efforts, not just through your support efforts, right? All those things are very important. The better support you have, the better information you end up putting out there, the more people will end up loving you, right? Like Rand right here sitting, he has a company called Moss. Do you know why people love him? Because of their blog. It started out there. They gave so much great information. They don't care about the ROI. It actually ends up generating them a lot of revenue because they'll go above and beyond to make people feel special with their information. Instead of charging for it, which they could, they give it all away for free. So what's one way you can make your visitors feel special? Well, you can do blogging and all that kind of stuff, which you should, but why not get personal with their data? And not in a creepy way, but use geo-based data. So Tim teaches people how to trade, and he'll use geo IPs, right? So I made this tweak to his page, and there was this like script called MaxMine. I'm not a techie, so I don't know how to program, but this service called MaxMine for like $100 taught me how to put in someone's location into my copy. And his headline is, I'm determined to create a millionaire trader in Las Vegas. And I live in Las Vegas, so it pulled in my city. My only question is, will it be you? Right? Very effective strategy, and I'll go into the results later. And I also did something similar. Hey, I'm Neil Patel. I'm determined to make a business in Las Vegas successful. My only question is it yours? You can do all these types of things, right? I'm here to help your company, or I'm here to help a company in San Francisco with their storage problems, whatever it may be. You can use it for almost anything. Dating companies use it all the time. Feeling lonely? Meet 10 girls right now in Las Vegas, Nevada, or San Francisco, or whatever it may be. It's a very effective strategy. You too can do the same thing, right? And when I started doing all this, I learned that putting that data throughout the whole funnel, so geo data, and not just the home page, tends to boost engagement and signups more than anything else. So you want it on step 2, step 3, throughout the whole funnel. And what ends up happening in the end is you get more engagement. You may not get too many more signups, but what we found with Tim, because he puts them into an app after, the engagement, them signing up, coming back, spending more time, was 68% higher because of geo-based data. And those users had an LTV of higher than 50% more than the users that didn't see the geo-based data, right? And as you guys all know, getting customers is hard, but keeping customers, right, can even be harder. So if you can keep your customers long and get them to pay more for a longer period of time, you'll make quite a bit more money. So consider using geo-based data. That's pretty much it. Thank you very much. I think we're short on time, so if you have any questions, just shoot me an email.